Landman Season 2, and I'm curious if the TV show will pursue a love triangle with her and Tommy. While I think this would be a strange move, and it would damage Tommy as a character in many ways, I wouldn't be all that surprised if it happened. Especially given that they'll be working in close contact under high-stress situations, it seems like a possibility. Filming is officially underway for Season 2 of Landman, and Kayla Wallace is celebrating her return to the world of West Texas oil and style. The actress took to social media with two posts this week, marking her arrival back on set. The first, a simple but exciting Round 2 caption, signaled her return to filming. The second followed shortly after, with Wallace writing, "So happy to be back with this team," alongside a carousel of behind-the-scenes photos featuring crew members, outdoor locations, and what looks like another long Texas day under the sun. And you know it's a hot sun down there. Wallace plays Rebecca Falcone, a sharp liability lawyer recruited by oil tycoon Monty Miller, John Hamm, in Season 1 to clean up the legal mess left in the wake of Tommy Norris's Billy Bob Thornton increasingly messy dealings. Despite being just a few years out of law school, Rebecca proved to be no pushover, even if she was initially taken aback by the no-bullshot nature of the work. It's good to see her returning, as her personality was a spiky one and a nice contrast to the other prominent women in the show, with Michelle Randolph and Aliel's blonde excitement proving a bit much for some viewers. As Landman barrels towards Season 2, Wallace's return suggests that Rebecca is going to continue to be central to the ongoing conflict between oil powerhouses, local communities, the mafia, the gangs, and the personal battles of those caught in the middle. So basically, more of the same, just turned up to 11. With Monty Miller dead following the Season 1 finale, the legal and corporate fallout is likely to be massive, and Rebecca is right at the heart of it as Tommy's closest legal representative. Landman is co-created by Taylor Sheridan and Christian Wallace and is based on the Texas monthly podcast Boomtown. It explores the rough, real-world politics and personalities fueling the West Texas oil boom. Alongside Wallace, the ensemble cast includes Billy Bob Thornton, Aliel, Jacob Laughlin, Paulina Chavez, Michelle Randolph, and James Jordan. It wasn't even the societal norms that bugged me about Cooper and Ariana's relationship as much as the trauma they both shared. I thought their relationship could be nothing but unhealthy because they both had such fresh trauma that they hadn't properly processed. Ariana lost her husband and the father of her child, while Cooper watched three men die and was nearly beaten to death. It didn't seem like a great foundation for a healthy relationship. I thought Cooper and Ariana's romance should have waited for Landman Season 2 so they could have more time to grieve. A pair of young people who are simply clinging to each other to avoid thinking about a traumatic event don't have a very realistic view of the future. If Cooper and Ariana were just trying to block out their pain, she wouldn't have even entertained the idea that Cooper might not love her. Landman has convinced me that Ariana and Cooper are more than capable of handling their relationship in a mature way. And I agree with Ariana that it's worth figuring out, even if they end up realizing it was a mistake down the line. I now think their relationship is at least worth exploring. Ariana's explanation of what her and Cooper's relationship is made their story going forward in Landman much easier to understand. Now, they're not just two kids stupidly falling in love at the wrong time. They're two adults trying to make sense of a whirlwind situation. Likewise, if Cooper gets targeted again by Manuel and Antonio's friends, it won't be the result of a mistake. It will be the result of a conscious decision to give their relationship a chance, despite the odds. Ironically, the part of the show that's what had been a weakness all season is the one element that feels the most well-developed in the finale. The personal lives of the Norris family are in brand new places. Ariana begins to get closure on Elvio's death, which also signifies hope for her and Cooper. While Aninsley's relationship with Ryder is partly played for laughs, it resonates more when looking back at how her previous boyfriend treated her in the series premiere. She finally has someone who seems to fully appreciate her and is willing to stay. As for Angela and Tommy, there's not a huge turning point for them, but Angela supports Tommy when he needs her the most. It's good to see that part of the show finally have a major impact. Yet, if the series isn't able to come back for another season, this finale isn't the best place to leave anyone who's not in the Norris family. Outside the Norris clan, the crumbs of hope wind up pushing many characters to the sidelines. Demi Moore is given her meatiest scenes yet as Cami Miller. She talks to Tommy about what she wants for her future and that of her family. It's a little laughable when Cami talks about wanting enough money to be remembered, because as Tommy points out, that's more about ego than anything else. Still, the scenes between Moore and Billy Bob Thornton feel like world-weary conversations between old friends. It's a shame that their friendship wasn't explored further throughout the season. John Hamm's character Monty Miller is dead, but he doesn't pass until a silent scene late in the finale. He may as well have died at the end of episode 9, since his wishes are executed once he becomes legally incapacitated. Having the character in surgery off-screen doesn't add or change much plot-wise. Tommy still has to rally the MTEX team, and there's limited screen time for both Rebecca Falcone and Nathan. If the series gets renewed, Color deserves much more to do as Nathan, because he's quietly been fabulous all along. The big winner in this group is James Jordan, as Dale gets a hilarious extra scene where he torments Ryder when Ryder comes to the oil house to see an Inslee. Tommy's expanded role in MTEX leadership could also have a big impact on other Landman characters. Angela, Allie L., for example, already bemoans how much Tommy works, and those complaints won't go away now that he's vice president. Cooper's, Jacob Laughlin, decision to start his own oil company will also put him in direct competition with MTEX, which should create a new strain on the Norris family. Even Cami could have more to do in the next Landman installments, as she may take a bigger role in MTEX, or at least figure out what to do without Monty around. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones swings by Monty's hospital room to impart some wisdom about spending more time with family, but then uses the example of buying an NFL team and employing his children, which doesn't seem like a super replicable model. But who am I to say? After he leaves, Monty seems hesitant to take the older man's advice. He blames his third coronary bypass procedure on a bad heart, not business stress, and worries he'd have no purpose if he retired. That said, he reluctantly tells Tommy, "I am planning on stepping back and making you vice president of operations." But plot twist, he's also offering a VP of exploration position to Rebecca, who Monty calls the shrewdest negotiator I've ever seen. She's an absolute killer. In the face of Tommy's protests, Monty suggests he learn how to work with the lawyer. John Hamm exits Landman at the end of Season 1, Episode 9, but it's not entirely clear whether Monty lived or died. As the head of MTEX, the Tommy Norris, Billy Bob Thornton Oil Company, Monty is one of the most important characters in Landman. He makes the big decisions about which wells to dig, which rigs to work over, and his storyline brings the high-stakes business side of the oil industry to life. It also placed him at the center of Ariana's Paulina Chavez settlement, and the massive payout triggered his third heart attack. By the end of Landman Season 1, Episode 9, it seemed like Monty was going to make major changes due to his heart issues. He named Tommy as the new vice president of operations for MTEX. He offered Rebecca, Kayla Wallace, the job of vice president of exploration. He even said he was going to step back and spend more time with Cami, Demi Moore, and his family. Those changes, however, seemingly weren't enough. Monty's heart rate spiked, and he looked physically uncomfortable just before the episode ended. It's not clear what happened to him, but Landman definitely hinted. Based on how Monty's heart rate spiked and how much pain he was in, it looks like he is either dying or already dead in Landman Episode 9. Monty himself admitted he had a busted, rotten heart, and the constant stress of managing a multi-billion-dollar oil company wasn't doing him any favors. His increased heart rate and physical discomfort could signal that he was having yet another heart attack immediately after his third bypass, which would be catastrophic for his health. If Monty didn't already die from his heart complications, he's almost certainly at death's door. There's another hint in Landman Episode 9 suggesting Monty isn't long for this world. The morning after his heart rate spiked, Tommy received a call from Cami that clearly didn't go well. While the show didn't reveal exactly what Cami said, Tommy's response, "I'm sorry to hear that. What can I do? Is there any way I can help?" strongly suggests that Monty has died. On top of that, the coyote Tommy saw get shot at the end of the Ariana scene adds to the symbolism. Ariana is spooked when Cooper starts talking about their shared future. especially since they've only kissed a few times and things are still awkward between them. She tells him to focus on his own life, but Cooper has something to say. I have a dream, but I don't know if I have the courage to chase it just for me, he tells her, adding that he's already risked his life and quit his job for her because he's in love with her. You want proof that I won't quit? He asks, lifting his shirt to reveal the giant purple bruise across his chest. My body is my proof. I took one look at you, and I fell, and I'm still falling. She starts kissing him, but the doorbell rings, interrupting them again. She grumbles, God is begging us not to do this. After she dispatches a door-to-door salesman, she climbs back on top of Cooper and declares they're going to find out if they truly have chemistry. Just then, her son starts crying from his crib. This is God's last warning. If you don't take it, you're stuck with me, she jokes as they continue kissing. Cooper is more than okay with that. Meanwhile, Tommy returns home from seeing Monty to find that Angela has made paella and invited Ryder to stay for dinner. Just like in episode 5, Tommy makes a big fuss about how Angela went over the top with her expectations for the meal. When they talk about it outside, he tells her he's happy for her to do whatever she wants for dinner, as long as he doesn't have to participate. It seems like we're supposed to side with him here. But do whatever you want, just don't expect me to take part, is kind of a bummer thing to hear from your partner. Ironically, the part of the show that's been a weakness all season is the one that feels the most well-developed in the finale. The personal lives of the Norris family are in brand new places. Ariana begins to find closure on Elvio's death, which also signifies hope for her and Cooper. And while Ninsley's relationship with Ryder is partly played for laughs, it hits harder when you remember how her previous boyfriend treated her in the series premiere. She finally has someone who seems to genuinely appreciate her and is willing to stick around. As for Angela and Tommy, there isn't a huge turning point in their relationship, but Angela supports Tommy when he needs her most. It's good to see that part of the show finally have a major emotional payoff. Yet if the series doesn't come back for another season, this finale isn't the best place to leave everyone outside of the Norris family. Beyond the Norris clan, the crumbs of hope wind up pushing many other characters to the sidelines. Demi Moore is given her meatiest scenes yet as Cami Miller, who talks to Tommy about what she wants for her future and that of her family. It's a bit laughable when Cami says she wants enough money to be remembered, because as Tommy points out, that's more about ego than anything else. Still, the scenes between Moore and Billy Bob Thornton feel like world-weary conversations between old friends. It's a shame their friendship wasn't explored more throughout the season. Jon Hamm's character, Monty Miller, is dead, but he doesn't pass until a silent scene late in the finale. He may as well have died at the end of episode 9, because his wishes are carried out once he becomes legally incapacitated. Having him in surgery off-screen doesn't really add or change anything from a plot perspective. Tommy still has to rally the MTEX team, and there's limited screen time for both Rebecca Filoni and Nathan. If the series is renewed, Cole Hauser deserves much more to do as Nathan. He's quietly been fantastic all along. The big winner in this group is James Jordan, because Dale gets a hilarious extra scene in which he torments Ryder when Ryder comes to the oil house to see a Ninsley. It might be the funniest scene in Landman, period. Flare from a nearby oil derrick. A Ninsley decides she likes Ryder and that she's going to test him. She brings him to the nursing home where she and her mom have been volunteering, and she's delighted when he enthusiastically plays a game with some of the residents. She confides in one of the older women that she wanted to make sure Ryder was interested in her for more than just sex. This moment feels like a turning point for Ariana and Cooper, so we couldn't wait to talk to Paulina Chavez, who plays Ariana, about what might come next. Read on for her thoughts about why Cooper became Ariana's rock, how Billy Bob Thornton likes his Mexican food, and more. I've changed my mind about Ariana and Cooper Norris's relationship after Landman Season 1, Episode 8, and now I think they deserve to be together. Ever since the blowout that killed a big chunk of the cast, Cooper and Ariana seemed destined to date. Cooper started helping Ariana around her house, cutting her grass and helping her with her bills. Then, in Episode 7, the two finally kissed after Cooper started staying at Ariana's house to recover from his injuries. While I didn't agree with it then, I've changed my mind now. I'm not the only person who initially had a problem with Ariana and Cooper getting together so soon after the blowout. Rebecca, Kayla Wallace, was furious and even tried to intimidate Cooper into signing the settlement agreement for far less than it was worth. Elvio's friends even tried to kill Cooper for growing close to Ariana. Even Tommy, Billy Bob Thornton, couldn't understand why they were together. But the couple managed to change his mind in episode 8, and they changed mine as well. At first, I thought Cooper and Ariana were rushing into their relationship. As Rebecca pointed out, in the span of just a few weeks, Ariana went from being married to Elvio to sleeping in the same bed as Cooper. Their entire relationship felt rushed, especially with the constant outside pressures putting them under even more stress. From Manuel Jr., Vel, and Antonio, Octavio Rodriguez, trying to scare Cooper away, to Rebecca pushing Ariana to sign the settlement. Cooper and Ariana didn't seem to have enough time to build a real connection, but whatever has been growing between Cooper and Ariana since the third episode has turned into something real, if still undefined, for both of them. In the latest episode, Rebecca kicks things off by cornering Cooper alone in Ariana's backyard and using every ounce of her signature intensity from the deposition. The money MTX is offering, she says, is enough to set up Ariana and her son for life. But if the widow wants to seek damages from the company, we must scrutinize everything. Every family, she threatens. Do you have any idea how bad this looks? She hisses. Your husband's dead less than a month, and you're sleeping in his fussing bed, with the one person who survived the explosion completely unscathed. She insinuates that Cooper knew what he was doing the day of the explosion, and even that he planned it to kill Elvio. I will crucify you to destroy her, and I do mean destroy, she continues. Even though Cooper insists that nothing she's saying is true, Rebecca fires back. I reject your truth. I think I'll invent my own. Inside, she and Nathan try once more to get Ariana to accept their settlement, but the young mom wants to know what Cooper thinks. $1 million, he says. You weren't standing on that doorstep this morning at 7 a.m. because you're sitting on a strong case. He points out that OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and other regulatory agencies would have a field day with the accident. He's also sure MTX hasn't informed their insurance company about it. They're cornered. As Rebecca fumes, Nathan calls Monty. They've barely begun when Tommy asks what exactly they're doing. Ariana responds, we're trying to figure it out, clearly frustrated, as she points out that the 22-year-old worm on a workover crew would not be my solution to her problems. She doesn't back down under Tommy's scrutiny, explaining, Elvio was nice, but Elvio never looked at me the way Cooper looks at me. Not once. Ever. She's on a roll, and it's not long before she firmly suggests that Tommy should be on his way. Judge me all you want from that truck, but I will not be judged in my own farming house, she says, moving him toward the door. For his part, Tommy seems equal parts amused and admiring of the widow. Son, he tells Cooper as he leaves, you might have outkicked your coverage on this one. Then turning to Ariana, he tells her he thinks she's one of the few people who actually deserves happiness, and takes off. Tommy then heads to the Patch Cafe, where Rebecca repeats her earlier insinuation, that Cooper had the knowledge and means to trigger the pump jack explosion, and that she can prove it in court. Tommy loses his temper fast, threatening her and kicking the bar stool out from under her as he storms off. Elsewhere in the episode, the Texas governor agrees to Monty's request to have the Texas National Guard train in the area where they've been having cartel-related issues. The idea is that a strong military presence will deter drug activity on oil company property. But things go sideways when the Guard conducts air assault training in the same area where a drug transfer is happening. One of the explosions blows up a van, killing at least one person. Meanwhile, Monty's chest pain doesn't go away. He ends up in the hospital, suffering what appears to be his 5th heart attack.